Hello, guys. Omni here. It is time to talk about DC Universe's Swamp Thing. The last episode aired this past Friday, and I've watched it all the way through. And, I kind of get why Warner Brothers may not have been all that confident in it. It definitely kind of breaks a lot of the norms for these kinds of shows. Given so did Doom Patrol, definitely by far. But this one, it kind of has some elements to it that I kind of feel like investors, maybe the executives, probably weren't too confident in. However, this series, despite the it being what 3 episodes shorter than it originally was intended to be, since they cut production short early and told them that, all right, sorry guys, instead of 13 episodes, we're rolling you back to 10. You have 10 episodes now, and I think they were on episode 8 when they got that notice that they had to wrap the show up in 2 episodes. Honestly, it doesn't feel incomplete or rushed towards the end of things. There's there's a couple of well, not a couple. There's like one storyline in it's kind of like a subplot that's going on in the background revolving a character that I feel like they were setting up for something more. No spoilers or anything like that, but I really feel like it didn't need to be there. In the end, the payoff wasn't really worth it, and it was actually really weird, strange, and that whole plot line, that whole thread really felt out of place to me uh, throughout the whole series. And what it was getting into was really weak, and I feel like the payoff definitely was not that great. There's a lot of storylines that get set up in this too that could have panned out in future stories. Who knows? Maybe word of mouth will get this show re-upped, because it didn't help this show that Warner Brothers decided to announce after the first episode aired that they were going to go ahead and cancel the show, that this was going to be the only order for the season for this series. And I can't tell you how many people I heard say, like, oh, well, if this is definitely just going to be it, then I'm not that interested. I'm not going to rush to go watch this knowing that they already canceled it. And these are some high profile people as well that had this same reaction, that I don't understand why they would wait, not even wait, why they would rush to announce that only after the first episode is aired. That is horrible marketing, and I don't know why they did that. It's so strange to me. But that aside, that subplot aside, this season, this show was really engrossing. I loved the direction, I loved the tone, the setting. I love the way everything is shot. This is borderline a horror series, and there is a lot of cringeworthy body horror in this, tons of gore, and in a lot of creative ways that they use dead bodies to reanimate them in different ways, using the swamp, tentacles, penetrations, morphous mutations, and just all kinds of, like, think of back to the classic movie The Thing, and a lot of the interesting ways they played around with the human body, and just bodies in general, with the viscera and all that. This show is really creative, and a lot of it is practical effects, and it's just amazing. Swamp Thing himself in the full, like, practical monster outfit is gorgeous to look at, and this is honestly, like, I do enjoy this character a lot. I remember watching the old films, the old live action movies that they came out back, what, in the 80s, 70s, something like that. I don't remember. I know there's even an animated show back in the day. But this series was really good, and I really think Warner Brothers jumped the gun in canceling it. And, you know, I know there was some financial issues. There's not really a whole lot of clear, distinct um, word on why they canceled it. I know there were some things that happened, or some tax cuts in while shooting in North Carolina, that didn't go through, or they something was wrong with that, and they ended up having to pay more to shoot there than they had originally intended. That was part of it. I think that factored in with just like the kind of show that this was, and not being all that confident on whether or not it was going to land, that they just decided to cut the ties like right out of the gate. Now, I think they should have like held off on announcing that they weren't going to re-up it for a second season way later, maybe even after all 10 episodes had aired, because now people don't have an incentive to go check it out. And it's just stupid. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like that is the stupidest thing I have heard of, to just do that. Like the episodes were made, they could have been all aired, and then you can be like, oh, at least wait for the fan reaction, because then if you're getting the views, who knows? And Doom Patrol's been picked up by the Warner Brothers streaming app as well as this. Same with Titan season 2. So we know both of those are continuing. So they do have interest in these properties moving forward. So I have no idea what the planning or idea was behind that. So who knows? I know there's a lot of like shuffling around going on with the whole like HBO Max streaming service versus the DC Universe app that these shows are on. So I don't know if that maybe that weighed in on it, or they wanted to see how this played out, or word of mouth, or just the reception in general to decide what to do with it in the future, because I am definitely on board with Save Swamp Thing. So I know that hashtag's flying around already, but Doom Patrol was freaking fantastic. You all, if you've been on the channel for a while, you know my feelings on Titans. I would freaking love, especially with how this series ends, to see where it goes. It could go really somewhere great and interesting. I would love to see these spin off, and oh, so good. And I gotta say, like, the acting across the board in this is amazing and great, and so many solid performances, and the way they play with the tones, like that horror kind of swamp vibe, you always feel unsettled in a way, and situations are always extremely tense, and this plays it so seriously. There's some supernatural elements in there. It's not completely scientific, as you should know if you're familiar at all with the Alec Holland and the Swamp Thing. Now, Alec Holland, that's the one thing I'm going to say. Like, there's a couple of, like I said, with that subplot with that character, I felt like they kind of felt out of place. The only other thing that I didn't quite feel in sync with is the human version of Alec Holland. Like, he's not a bad actor or anything, but like he carries himself like he's in a different series. I don't know. Like, he's got this a lot lighter tone to who he is, and he contrasts so hard when he's the Swamp Thing. And I think maybe that would have worked a little bit more if we got to spend more time with him before turning into Swamp Thing, before he became the creature. I feel like maybe we could have grown a little more attached with him, but they jump right into it. And I don't know if that was a conscious decision, because that had to have been in play before they got the notice that the season was going to be shorter than they intended. But I do think that we needed to spend more time to him before becoming Swamp Thing than they gave us, because I feel like we just needed more of a connection to his human counterpart to kind of really sympathize a little bit more, because the point of view is really from Abby Arcane's perspective, and I think that is kind of what throws off the full connection to Alec Holland and Swamp Thing himself. Aside from that, we got a full array of amazing characters, drama, horror, action. This season has everything. Not comedy, not a whole lot. I mean, there's some chuckly things in here, but it's not Doom Patrol, it's not Titans. It's definitely more serious in its tone, and goes for a more of a hard R, gritty, The Thing body horror kind of show. And if you're into any of that, I definitely recommend checking this out. It is a solid show. I give this an easy 8 out of 10. For me, maybe 7. Actually, probably more of a 7, a mid to high 7. Given, like I said, it's the subplots, and then kind of the weak lead in Alec Holland. But everybody else is on point, and I think is worth the watch for this show. It is now all out. Now, as you know, with the streaming service, they release these weekly like they would be on a TV show. So you can't just sign up, binge it, and then dip out of your subscription. So I always recommend, as I have with Titans, as I have with Doom Patrol, to wait for everything is out. If you are not certain about signing up for the app, to wait until the season is out, binge it through, and then cancel afterwards. I know that's a kind of an icky practice as a consumer, but when you're not sure about what you will get out of the app, that's my suggestion, because of the way they have it modeled. You can't just hop in and get out like you could in a lot of other things like Netflix, because they release a lot of their shows in full the day they air. So you can get in, binge it, and get out if that's all you're interested in. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for this today. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen this, if you checked it out, maybe why you're waiting if you haven't. Any of your familiarity with the character of Swamp Thing, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and let's carry on the conversation after the video. And if you guys like this video, make sure to support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you didn't like it, let me know in the comments what you didn't like as well. And that is it for today. I'll catch you guys in the next video.